Howdy AdWords fans, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about remarketing. Remarketing is something which is crucial to the success of your AdWords campaigns. You might not be familiar with the term remarketing, but I am almost 100% confident that you are familiar with the concept of remarketing. Have you ever been to a website, you browse around their products, maybe it was Amazon, maybe it was another website, and you left the website, you didn't necessarily buy anything, and all of a sudden you start seeing ads for that company as you continue to browse the web. You might be on the Wall Street Journal, you might be on another website, you might be on a forum. Sometimes you even see ads for the specific product you were looking for. Pretty creepy, right? That's remarketing. A lot of people love them, a lot of people hate them, but whether you like them or hate them, it doesn't really matter because remarketing is one of the most effective and popular tools in an advertiser's toolbox. There's a lot of different types of remarketing and there's a lot of different benefits to remarketing. The main purpose of this video and the next video is going to be how to set up remarketing on your site. We're not going to go into detail in developing all the different types of remarketing campaigns because this course is focusing on Google search and a lot of remarketing is done on Google display. But we will talk about the process, we will talk about understanding remarketing theory, and we're going to talk about and cover all the key components and the key aspects of setting up a remarketing campaign so you could understand it and you can go ahead and do it yourself. So like we just said, remarketing essentially allows you to show ads specifically to people who have viewed your website before. That is remarketing at the most basic, broadest level. It could be also for apps. If you have an app, remarketing for apps could be showing ads specifically to people who viewed your apps before. So that's really what remarketing is. It's not necessarily showing ads to people who are now looking for keywords, who are searching Google for queries. It's only advertising to people who have previously interacted with your brand through an app, through the mobile website, or through the actual website. So as you could see, or as you could imagine, how powerful that is, because one of the largest struggles an advertiser has to overcome when advertising is brand recognition, getting in front of the consumer multiple times. As we're going to talk about, most people will not buy or convert on their first visit, or oftentimes for certain businesses, their second and third visit. It's very important, especially today with the amount of digital advertising that's happening, the amount of different companies and competition that's using AdWords and that's using remarketing. It's extremely important to continue to stay in front of your potential customer. Remarketing is the way that we can make that happen. We bring them into the website initially through a search ad. We then continue to appeal to them through remarketing, showing them ads specifically as they continue to browse the internet or as they continue to search Google for answers to their questions. So let's talk about the different types of remarketing campaigns that are available inside Google AdWords. The first type of campaign we have is a standard remarketing campaign. It is the display network and display network apps. What does that mean? Standard remarketing is somebody comes to my site, right? Say somebody comes to Poppin and they look for office chairs. They're browsing around our office chairs page, they then leave the site, maybe they add a chair to their cart, but they don't buy, and then they leave. Standard remarketing allows me to say, hey, when that person is now browsing the web and they're on websites contained in the Google Display Network, for example, the Huffington Post and ESPN or Bloomberg Media, there's over 2 million different websites that are included in the Google Display Network that will show AdWords Display Network ads. And I'm saying, hey, when they're on those websites, I want to bid for a click for them to show my ad to that person who was previously viewing my Poppin shares. And I could also choose to show those ads on Display Network mobile apps or web apps. So that's what standard remarketing is. It's the most popular form of remarketing. You came to my website, now I want to show you ads on the Google Display Network as you continue to browse the web. That is the essence of remarketing. It's the most standard, most popular form of remarketing, and it's really going to be the type of remarketing that you're most likely going to use. You also have what's called dynamic remarketing, which is specifically useful for e-commerce. So this is the thing we talked about. If you're on Amazon, you're viewing a random product, corduroy rucksacks, whatever it may be. I actually have a corduroy rucksack and I like it very much. But even if you're using you're viewing a very random product, dynamic remarketing allows you to then show ads for that specific product as that person continues to browse the web. So for example, if I was searching for different corduroy rucksacks and I didn't buy any, and now I'm reading a blog on BuzzFeed, they could show me specific image ads that contain the images of the products, and if I click, it'll bring me back to that exact product page. So dynamic remarketing. The concept of dynamic is there's movement or there's customization based on what products or services I was viewing on a website, and dynamic remarketing allows you to show those specific products and services in your ads to your previous website visitors. So that's very particular to e-commerce. You also have remarketing for mobile apps. Okay, so people who have viewed your mobile app or you viewed your mobile website, I want to specifically target them and show them ads on other mobile websites, or other mobile apps. So that's specifically for the mobile experience. If you've used my app, if you've used my mobile website, you're then added to a remarketing audience, and I'm then going to show you ads as you're on other apps or other mobile websites. You also have a very interesting type of remarketing, which is gaining in popularity, called remarketing in search. So people who come to my website, so say for example, Joe searched Google for padded leather office chairs, and they saw a search ad for Poppin'. They click on the ad, they view our products, they spend some time on the site, then they leave. Tomorrow, they go back to Google. They're not on a display network site, they're not reading a feed, they're back to Google search, and they type in, once again, tufted leather office chairs with padding. So it's very similar to my search. I could specifically set separate bids for the previous website visitors in search. That's called remarketing lists in search ads. So for example, I might say, hey, if a person now has seen my website yesterday, they've been to the site, they have brand recognition, I could then put a different message in the ad. I could say, hey, come back for a 10% coupon. We really want you to get this chair. Or I might even want to bid more aggressively. So I might say, hey, this person has been to our site, he's educated himself a little bit more, he's probably closer now towards the bottom of the buyer funnel, getting close to that sales stage. Let me bid an extra dollar per click on a second time visit. So that's what remarketing lists in search ads allows you to do. Another thing it allows you to do is to be a little bit more broad with your keywords, because somebody's been to your site before, they understand what you sell, they know what you offer, so we could be a little broader with our keywords without being as nervous of wasting money for bad clicks, for people who are not really going to have their needs fulfilled with our website. So those are a few different ways you could strategically use remarketing lists in search ads to your advantage. Keep those things in mind, because as you continue to build out your remarketing strategy and as you get more advanced in remarketing, those are going to be some very, very powerful and helpful tips. Lastly, we have remarketing in video. Video remarketing. So remarket to people who viewed your YouTube video. By linking your YouTube channel to your AdWords account, Google will be able to track who viewed your YouTube video as long as they're signed into Google, and we could continue to remarket to those people throughout the Google Display Network and throughout Google Search. So certain companies will be publishing videos, producing videos. They might be user reviews, they might be product reviews, they might be explainer videos. So if you're promoting those videos in a successful way and people are watching it, it's great to be able to remarket to those people as they continue to use the internet, view other websites, and go back to Google for search, because then there's that brand recognition is there. They've interacted with your video, they've already expressed some sort of interest, they've already engaged with your brand. So it's a very, very powerful way to enhance the effectiveness of your video presence online. So that's remarketing with video. And we're going to go through the next video. We're going to actually go into the AdWords account, and I'll show you exactly where all these different these remarketing types are. And we're also just very shortly going to talk about the actual remarketing process, what you technically need to do to actually have it set up. So let's just talk about first the benefits of remarketing. And these are just some of the benefits, the most basic ones. Number one, reach people when they are most likely to buy. And that's a very, very powerful thing. Like we talked about, we'll get more information on a visitor the more they're on our site. So for example, if somebody comes to our site and we see they viewed 5 pages and then they've left, we know that they're going to go and continue to educate themselves. They weren't a bad visitor. They didn't come and bounce right away. And we could then show that ad specifically on certain websites that talk about office chairs or file cabinets or the other things that we sell. So we could reasonably assume that we're reaching them during their stage when they're continuing to educate themselves and continuing to shop. So that's a very powerful concept in remarketing. You're reaching people, you have the control, you have the ability to set up remarketing where you reach people at the point where they're most likely to buy. The second major factor in remarketing is tailored lists. remarketing is not just about your previous website visitors. It's specific visitors who have taken specific actions. By setting up lists and creating remarketing rules, I could show ads to people who just visited certain pages. I could show ads specifically to people who abandoned my cart, or both. So for example, I might have one list that is a rule-based list that is only populated. The audience of this list are only people who have added a product to my cart but then abandoned without checking out. The way you create those lists, and I'm going to show you in the next video, is by rules. So for example, let's say my cart page is poppin.com/cart. So it would be anybody who, in order to be on the cart abandoner list, you have had to have viewed that URL, cart, but you have to have not viewed poppin.com/order complete, which signifies somebody who actually paid. So that by combining those two rules, we know that somebody viewed the cart, which means they had to have added a product to their cart, but they didn't view the order complete page, which means they didn't pay. So that we could label those people cart abandoners. So we know that they're really good visitors. They've made it into the funnel, but they got busy. Maybe the pricing wasn't right. Maybe they wanted to educate themselves a little more, do some comparison shopping, whatever it is. So for that audience, we could bid very aggressively. We could say, bid a little bit higher per click, show my ads on a broader range of websites, run my ads 24/7, whatever it may be. And what's most important is the messaging in the ad. We could we could design an ad that says, come back, complete your purchase, and here's a 5% off coupon code. And we're telling the customer that we know that you have a product in your cart, come back. We might have another audience running in a different remarketing ad group that's targeting all website visitors who have visited at least 2 pages, and that's another rule we could set up. For those visitors, we might want to say it's a little bit less of an aggressive bid. These are people who are still educating themselves. They didn't indicate to us that they're going to buy from us yet, so they're not as good or high quality of a visitor or of an audience as the cart abandoners. We might also say anybody who came and just viewed one page, or anybody who came and viewed our blog page, we don't want to on a remarketing audience at all. And you could do that by creating tailored lists. So that's really the power and the concept of creating these tailored lists. It's really, really important and really cool stuff. The Google Display Network has a tremendous reach. For most advertisers, just advertising a traditional display network campaign to anybody who is viewing a product or page that's relevant to your website, it's too broad. It's very easy to spend a lot of money on the Google Display Network and not see any returns. It's the most wild, I would say. It could get very out of control, the Google Display Network, with what you spend on and who you spend it on. Remarketing allows you to only tailor your previous website visitors, but you have the reach, the volume of those 2 million properties on the Google Display Network. So it's a brilliant way to control your spending, to make sure you're getting very high quality traffic while maintaining a very large potential reach. Okay? You also get a lot of detailed reporting on the Google Display Network. You could see a tremendous amount of insight into your traffic. You could see affinity audiences, what types of consumer these people are who are on your audience, where they're hanging out online, where your remarketing ads are being placed, on which websites are your remarketing ads being placed. You could get a tremendous amount of insight, and you could learn a lot about your audience. You could learn a lot about your consumer base, and remarketing could be a very, very powerful tool for market research. And fifth, and perhaps even most importantly, 99% of visitors won't buy their first time on your site. Okay, if you're selling a product or you're trying to get people to sign up for a service or to take a conversion, on average, 99% of people will not buy on their first time. This shows you how important it is to really set up remarketing and to make sure you're continuing to advertise to your customers on an ongoing basis. So remarketing is really, really important in that way because in some cases, I hate to say it, in some cases, a Google AdWords campaign without remarketing could oftentimes be completely ineffective because people are coming to your site and then they're leaving your site and then they're just educating themselves further, they're seeing their competition, and you are nowhere to be found anymore. So remarketing, at least remarketing lists and search ads, which is this number 4 over here, at least remarketing lists and search ads is very important. I'm going to show you how to set that up in the next campaign. One other thing to realize, and we'll reiterate this, is that in order to even launch a remarketing campaign, currently Google requires that you have 1,000 people on your remarketing audience. So you're going to have your remarketing tag on your website, and I know you might be getting overwhelmed when I say remarketing tag, but don't worry. In just a couple minutes, we're going to go over exactly what the tag is, how it works, how to find it, and kind of seeing the remarketing process from a technical perspective. This is all theory. This is all just understanding what remarketing is, how it works, what the benefits are, what the different types of remarketing campaigns we could run. And it's very important to get a good sense of this and get a firm grip on how this works. So let's now, bear with me, we're going to erase this and we're going to talk about exactly how remarketing lists work, how we set them up, and what the process looks like. We'll be right back. And we're back. Let's take a look at the technical process involved with creating your remarketing campaigns. There's a few different moving parts here. It's a little bit more complex, a little bit more involved than a traditional campaign, primarily because of what we call the remarketing tag. It's a snippet of code that Google is going to give us. And we have to have that tag installed on our website. So that might be overwhelming. It might sound overwhelming to you. I'm going to show you exactly how to generate and add the tag in the next video. But if it's something which is beyond your capabilities, then the person who set up your website is going to have to add the tag for you. If you set up the website yourself using WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, GoDaddy, I could basically show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that on a couple of those providers, and the concept will apply across the board. So it's going to be very simple. I'm going to really walk you through it step by step. But let's take a look at the remarketing process, how it works. The first thing we need to do is generate the remarketing tag from your AdWords account. We're going to find the remarketing tag in the shared library. We have to actually create the tag, view the tag, and copy the tag. And copy the tag onto our computer's clipboard or paste it into a notepad, whatever it may be. But we first have to actually go ahead and generate that tag. And like I said, just hold that in abeyance for now because I'm going to show you exactly where to generate that tag on the computer in the next video. The second step is adding the tag to our website. This tag, the way it works is when when a visitor comes to your website, and the tag is on the page of my website, that tag fires and it tells Google, drop a cookie in this browser, drop a cookie in this user's browser, and the cookie ID is then added to the remarketing audience. So once again, if somebody comes to my website that includes the remarketing tag, if somebody visits a page on my site that includes the remarketing tag that we're going to put, that remarketing tag fires and it tells Google, drop a cookie on this person's browser, and that cookie ID is added to the remarketing audience. So that person, as he continues to browse the internet, will know if that person is on our remarketing audience based on the cookie ID that this tag told Google to drop. So you don't need to understand cookies, you don't need to understand cookie IDs, none of that. You don't have to know an ounce of code. All you need to do is know that the remarketing tag needs to be added to every page of the website that we want to track. And since it's a remarketing tag, it really should be just a global tag, because if there's a certain website, let's say the blog, let's say we have a blog section, we don't want to have remarketing campaigns. So we could just exclude the blog in our remarketing audiences. We don't need to not have the remarketing tag on the blog. So that's the first thing to know. It's the easiest way to add your remarketing tag is to create a global tag, and just by putting it in the footer or header section of your site, it will not affect your speed, it will not affect your page loading time. It's generally best practice to put it in the footer section. That just creates a global tag. It's very easy. Just in case it's a very bad network connection, the tag being in the header section of the page won't affect any page load speed issues. So I'll show you how to add the tag to the footer, and I'll also show you how to check to see if your tag was added properly. That's a really cool part also. Google has given us a really good tool that allows you to quickly check to see if your remarketing tag is added, and most importantly, if it's added correctly. Okay, so the first step, like we said, just to review, we're going to generate the tag. We're then going to take that tag and put it on our website. Now that we have our remarketing tag set up, we're starting to track visitors. We need to create our rule-based remarketing lists. AdWords is going to generate for us a standard default all visitors list. It'll be everybody who's been to our site or anybody who's been to any page that has our remarketing tag installed on it. But we want to create rule-based remarketing lists. If we're going to be thoughtful marketers, we're probably not going to want to have one remarketing campaign to all website visitors. We're going to want to create rules. So people who have viewed key pages, maybe the Contact Us page, maybe a pricing page, maybe a certain product, maybe certain products that are more expensive, that have higher profit margins, where we want to be more aggressive in our remarketing. So we're going to go ahead inside AdWords after our tag's installed and start creating our remarketing lists, also known as audiences. And those remarketing lists are going to be broken down by buyer persona. They're going to all have different strategies. Like we said a few minutes ago, certain remarketing audiences we're going to want to, for example, a cart abandoner, we're going to want to bid more aggressively on. We're going to, we're going to want to have our ads running more frequently. So a remarketing list that just contains people who viewed the Contact Us page, maybe a little bit more aggressive on the bidding than somebody who just viewed the home page, but a little bit less aggressive than the cart abandoner's page. So the remarketing lists, I want you to start getting a feel for what these audiences are like. We're going to be creating different groups of people to apply to different remarketing campaigns, because different people represent different value to us. Every visitor and their activity on the site and what pages they view indicate to us different levels of engagement, different levels of readiness to buy, different levels in the shopping phase. If we have a area on our site that is frequently asked questions, and a person spending a lot of time on that page, we'll know that that person is likely still educating themselves, and we might want to remarket to them with a specific message, with a specific ad, sending them back to certain pages. That's another key factor to remember. Each remarketing campaign, each remarketing ad has a different destination URL and display URL. So we want to be sending certain types of traffic back to certain types of pages. So for example, our cart abandoner audience, people that we know have viewed our products and who have added products to the cart, those are people who we want to send back to the products pages. We want them to get back into the shop. People who have viewed the pricing page, we want to send them back to the pricing page or back to a page that has a clear call to action and a clear sign-up form. If we're targeting people who have viewed the blog, who are still educating themselves, we might want to send them back to our resource center. We might want to send them back to our frequently asked questions. We might want to send them back to our blog. So you could get extremely, extremely thoughtful and really detailed with setting up good remarketing lists and use that to your advantage. If you're just remarketing to the all visitors list, you're missing out on key opportunities. You're probably overpaying for certain types of traffic, and you're underpaying and you're underbidding on the types of really good traffic you want back. So remarketing lists, remarketing audience is a really, really important part, and we'll talk more about that in the next video as well. The next and final step, and this is going to be a repeating process as you continue to become better at AdWords and as you continue to grow your business online, is to build your remarketing campaigns. Building remarketing campaigns, I'm going to show you in the next video, is very similar to building other campaigns. The process is very similar. The different types of, the area in the account, technically it's similar. You're going to be very familiar with it. We will walk through it step by step. It's similar to building your campaigns, but you do need to now go and create a new campaign that's going to use remarketing lists. The next step is you're going to want to design your ads. With remarketing campaigns, we're now moving into image ads. We'll talk briefly about image ads. We're going to design some image ads using the Google Designer, but we're not going to get as involved into image ads as we are into the search network, because once again, this course is primarily for search. You could also create text ads. Remarketing could be text ads or image ads, and text ads could show up in Google search, but you could also have text ads on Google Display. That's an important thing to remember. The Google Display network is not just for image ads. Display just means that it's not a search property. It's not google.com. It's the Huffington Post, it's BuzzFeed, it's Bloomberg, it's MarketWatch, it's forums, it's game sites, it's news sites, it's sports sites. So that's what the display network refers to, but you could have text or image ads on those properties. The very, very important thing is applying our audiences. We want to use the audiences we created in step 3 and what we call apply those audiences to our campaigns. So we might have a cart abandoner campaign that has certain settings configured, and then we're going to go back into our shared library and we're going to apply that audience to be used for this campaign. Or if we're making a campaign for our blog visitors, a remarketing campaign for our blog visitors, we're going to go back to our shared library and apply that audience we created to this campaign. And then, like we do with all AdWords campaigns, we'll be tracking results very carefully. We'll be able to take a look at where our ads are being placed, what our click-through rates are, what our clicks are, what the impressions are, what we're converting. And I know we haven't talked about conversion tracking yet, but don't worry, we will. And all the different types of reporting that are available in regular campaigns are also available in remarketing, plus additional reporting columns such as placement reports. Placement reports is which websites my ads have been placed on, and tracking the individual results for those websites. And of course, we're going to optimize. We're going to take our results. We're going to see where we could increase the efficiency of the campaigns. We're going to see where we could decrease money that's being wasted. We're going to see how we could better optimize our audience and take it from there. One last thing that we didn't mention here is the membership window. Okay, and we'll talk about this setting very shortly as we set up our marketing campaigns. But the membership window refers to how long the cookie we drop on a person's browser lasts before expiring. It's default set to 30 days. We could set it up to 180 days. Google does change this. We may be, by the time you're watching this, it could be, you could set it to a little bit more, but it's the membership duration of a person on your remarketing audience. So it's very simple. So let's say I have it set to 30 days. So on September 15th, I come to your site, right? I come to Poppin. Poppin has the remarketing tag installed. Poppin's remarketing tag tells Google to drop a cookie on Isaac Rudansky's browser. So now I'm a member of that audience. That cookie has an ID, but there's also an expiration date. So if it's set to 30 days, then come October 15th, 30 days later, and October 16th, I'm now not seeing Poppin's remarketing ads anymore because I am no longer on the Poppin remarketing audience because the cookie has expired on my browser. However, if on September 30th I came back to Poppin's website, it refreshes. So then I have until October 30th until I lose membership and the membership expires. So that's a setting that we could set. Sometimes certain advertisers want shorter memberships because we only want to remarket to people when our website is still fresh in their mind, when their previous visit was fresh in their mind. We can make it even one day. Certain companies have longer sales cycles, longer funnels. People take longer to buy. They're more expensive products. They're more involved business services, let's say. And some people want a 180-day membership because they're happy to remarket to their previous visitors over the long term. Some people want the short term. Your business goals have to be evaluated while you choose a membership window. And we'll talk about where to find the membership window, how to edit that setting, all in the next video as we go ahead and build our very first remarketing campaign. So this was really to give you a very, very clear sense of what remarketing is, the concepts of remarketing, the benefits of remarketing, the different types of remarketing campaigns that we could run. Over here we covered the technical process to give you an introduction to what we're going to be doing next. This should give you a clear foundation of how remarketing actually functions, how it actually works, what the technical steps are that we need to take. And let's see you, we'll see you, I will see you in a couple minutes over at the computer, and we're going to go ahead and actually walk through step-by-step remarketing campaigns, building a remarketing campaign, looking at the results. I'll show you some remarketing campaigns of our clients so you can get a clear sense of what a remarketing campaign looks like once it's been built out. And by the time we're done, you will have a very, very deep understanding of how to build, launch, create, and manage and optimize very successful and very, very profitable remarketing campaigns to enhance all your advertising efforts. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in a couple minutes. Cheers.